Welcome to another ThemeMountain video tutorial. This is part 4 of rows and section blocks. And in this tutorial I'm going to show you a little bit about column alignment and how we move columns around using column offsets and push and pull. So for illustrative purposes I have created a section block here and I've inserted a single column with some text. And so we can see what this looks like in the front end. Now you can choose your own column structure by either using the presets that come with Visual Composer. You can select them here, or you can create your own custom layout. Now, for your convenience, in our documentation, you'll see that we've created a table under rows and columns where you can refer to the custom widths for creating the exact column structure that you want. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do here is create a column that spans 50% of the width. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and update that, and then I'm going to go ahead and edit the column itself. I'm going to go to column alignment, and I'm going to offset this column by 3 rows. Now what I'm doing here is that I want to center this column. So I'm pushing it rightwards by 3 columns. So it means we have 3 columns on the left hand side of it, we have 3 columns on the right hand side of it, and we're occupying 6 columns in the center. I'm going to go ahead and save that and update, and we can see what it looks like. There we go. Now we can do this with different widths, of course, and you'll commonly find in our themes that we use centered quarter columns, half columns, and 3/4 columns. So just to show you how this would work, I'm going to go ahead and set this to 3/4. Or if you're familiar with our HTML products, that would be 8/12. So we could either write it like this or write it like this. It's the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and update that. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and edit the column again, modify the column alignment, and this time I'm going to offset it by 2 rows. And there we go. So we have 2 columns on the left hand side, 2 columns on the right hand side, and we're occupying 8 columns in the middle. Now the next thing about column alignments is push and pull, and this comes in handy when you want to highlight key information. And for example, you want it to be positioned in a certain column on desktop and then always come up top when the content goes from top to bottom on mobile. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to swap the columns. We're going to create 2 columns. I'm just going to make sure that the offsets are cleared. There we go. And that's good. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this text block. And this is going to be our key information. So we have 2 columns here now, and this is the key information. But on desktop we'd want this to be on the left hand side and this text on the right hand side, because we want this key information always to be on top on mobile. So you could kind of say that we want this key information to act as a sidebar for this layout. So what we do here is we're going to push this column 6 columns to the right. So I go to column alignment, I go to push, and I select by 6 rows. I then go to this column, I do the same thing here, but this time I select pull by 6 rows. So what we're doing here is we're swapping this content around on desktop, but on mobile it'll assume its natural position. So I'm going to go ahead and update this. I'm going to reload in the front end. There we go. So we have pushed our key information to the right, and we've pulled our content to the left. And this means that when we resize our browser now, in the mobile breakpoint, our key information will be positioned above our other content, and this is exactly the way we wanted it. So you can use push and pull to create really complex layout and then swap the columns around based on what information you would like to come first. And that's all for this tutorial.